Hello everyone. Sorry for the delays, and welcome to Fellows in Arms. This is a podcast that's, well, if you couldn't tell by the name, a podcast about ARMS, the new Nintendo Switch game, which we've been playing way too much for the last week, because I think it got released just about a week ago. And with me today, we were supposed to be 4, but now we're 3. With me today I have Akiosjo, and he's the host and owner for the Akiosjo Arms channel. If you basically looked at tutorials on YouTube, you've probably seen his videos. And the SireAlligator couldn't come here today because he's playing Russian Jeopardy, which seems really fun. I don't understand what's going on, but he seems to be having the time of his life. And we have a new guest with us today as well. It's Robotoboy, which I found through Reddit. I bet you could tell more about yourself, though, and what you do there, perhaps.
So basically I learned some Japanese a few years ago. I'm in 4 and 5 and level as far as my actual comprehension goes. I'm actually better at reading it than I am actually at speaking, or even really, I'm okay at listening.
Yeah.
So I've been translating the Japanese official ARMS Twitter account and a lot of the lore stuff they've been posting. And any of the tutorial stuff I can find on there, because sometimes they post interesting stuff we don't know about. Like, we found out that some of the arms have different attributes with the plus symbol, that some of it's like really crazy. Outside of throw damage, you get stuff like return stuff. But I do the translations on that stuff. I also own a game shop here where I live in Oklahoma, Dragon Slayer Games. It's pretty popular, the most popular game shop here in Tulsa, where I live, my home city. We first ran a launch tournament for ARMS. We had a total of 18 contestants who showed up for the launch tournament. And then we are running a weekly series that is free with a $500 prize bonus into a grand finals tournament at the end of the series, which is a big thing. That's also free, but it's a cap of 16 people because we have a lot of tournaments running that day. But anyway, that's what I do. I run tournaments, I own a game shop, and I translate stuff that I think is cool.
That's a good introduction. I kind of noticed. I didn't know that it was you at first, but I kept seeing these like translated tweets topics, and then after a while I just noticed, oh wait, it's all the same guy who's posting all of these threads, and I was like, oh cool. And then I was looking for more guests, and you were like, hey, pick me, and I was like, yeah, sure. But
yeah. I mean, you know.
No, but I'm happy that you wanted to come on the show. And for those who don't know about the N levels in Japanese, that's basic. N5, N4 is kind of like conversational skills in Japanese, I would say. Or would you agree with that?
Yeah, very light conversation, but it can't get into anything like deep or anything. But yeah.
But you always have the translate button on Twitter, but
yeah.
It doesn't.
It's kind of not great.
No, but okay, that's pretty cool. I actually got to see a bit of the tournament that you were hosting there, because there was a stream there, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, streamed by one of our partners.
All right. So were you on that stream, or were you just like playing there?
I actually wasn't. You might have seen me a few times on the commentary cam in the background, but generally I was not actually on the stream itself. I was helping get it all ran and setting it up, because I own the shop. The organization that runs the tournament usually are our partners. So
I see. Okay. Well, let's just get into the topics today. I wanted to talk about like 4 main topics today, which is just kind of the first impressions of the game, because last time we talked, it hadn't been released actually, so it was kind of it was a week before, and now it's a week after, and there's been a lot of kind of discussions on the competitive standards and what kind of rules people should play with, stuff like that, and we'll also get a bit into the game lore, which I guess it's kind of your mainstay here, Robotoboy. And then also at the end I just wanted to talk a bit about the learning, because it's actually surprisingly interesting. I would never expect it to be that much tech in this game, but the more you play and the more you see, there's stuff every day just popping out. So, beginning with the kind of launch discussion or first impressions of the game. So, like, what has been your focus, Akiosjo and Robotoboy, like now after the launch? Have you just kind of been pumping ranked mode, or what have you been doing?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
One thing I've been doing is actually bought like 4 like tiny little pocket-sized notebooks, and one of them is for just writing like matchup notes and you know, like they all have their own purposes, but one of them I'm just keeping track daily of all of my wins and losses in ranked mode, like per round. Like if I go like 2-1, it'll be like 2 wins, 1 loss, you know. And so I'm just writing down like every single game I play. And I haven't played much these past few days just because it's the weekend. I'm just taking a break, but yeah, it kind of puts it into perspective, like how much I'm actually losing. But I've been playing mostly just ranked mode, and then like my wife is really wanting to learn, so like we usually play like in the evenings. But yeah, I'd say ranked mode is like the big focus of mine. I've gone on party mode like once or twice just with friends from Discord.
I see. Oh yeah, how about you, Robotoboy?
Well, funny story. Since I own a store and a lot of people, I have conflicting things being asked of me. So most of my time has been spent trying to get coins so that we can unlock all the arms, and that has been a not a fun experience.
But what is the kind of like most effective way of getting coins? Because I remember seeing a thread that's like, this is the most effective way to get coin. Okay, you're like,
so I actually wrote
flashbacks.
these down. I wrote these down.
All right.
So you need around 5,000 coins to unlock all of the arms.
Jesus.
Using the volleyball method, which is a popular one right now because it's the easiest to do for most people. That's the one where you basically have 2v2. You set Ribbon Girl with poppers as all of her arms, and then you set 2 helixes on the other end with all guardians, and then you just let you turn the CPU up to 7, and you let the Ribbon Girl win because the guardians can't do anything, and you get the most amount of coins from volleyball that way. That takes around 30 hours.
Jesus Christ.
The fastest method for it, you use 2 switches, go into local play, set it to first to 99, set win streak bonuses on, and you just equip Springman with megatons, and you just hammer away at them, and eventually you can earn about 101 coins in 10 minutes. That takes around 7 to 8 hours.
Wow.
That's the fastest, but still a long time.
Full day's work.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a completely different experience than what I've had with the game so far. But like, have you been able to collect enough coins for at least one Switch then, or like?
Almost.
Oh, okay.
I work a lot, so I don't have a lot of time to do so. I will probably be putting one of my employees on it, but
It's like,
yeah,
it
so
goes into the resume. What did you do at this store? Oh, I was playing ARMS like 9 hours
all
a day.
Right?
No, but that's interesting because like for me, I've mostly been focusing on getting all the arms for Springman because for some reason he became my main character, just kind of out of sheer luck, I guess. I played him a little in the Global Test Punch. I actually played Helix for the most part. Then I started losing all of the time with Helix, and I didn't understand why. So I kind of left him. And now I've been mostly playing, like, going back and forth between ranked and party mode. But I've actually, like, I have 1 hour route to my work, like, to work and then home from work. So I always bring it on my bus, so I farm coins when I'm just sitting on the bus. And it's kind of weird because I don't know if you guys think about that with your Switch, but I'm like so scared of breaking my Switch. So I'm like always when I go onto the bus, I sit at the like way back, like so no one can see me with my Switch, so I can't get robbed or something. And then I just like sit kind of like in the corner, and then I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, it's good because I usually fall asleep on the buses and miss my stop, but now I don't, so it helps in several ways. But so Akio, I guess. Are you still like solid with your Ribbon Girl being your main? Because I remember you did a video like the beginner's guide for Ribbon Girl, and you've been playing her a lot. But then you did the Helix one as well. So have you been like testing new characters now, or is it still just Ribbon Girl, or like?
Yeah, Ribbon Girl's still my main, but what I did is I just put a poll out for what the next video should be. Eventually I want to cover all of them, and so people just really wanted Helix for some reason, and it's weird too, because when I saw that like the top vote was Helix, I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna want like the more obscure characters first, but no, the next video is gonna be on Kid Cobra, so like I'm not really looking forward to that one, because like I don't really like Kid Cobra as a Ribbon Girl main, because he's kind of like her only like hard counter. So it's just and there's so many Kid Cobras online. It's just so annoying. But yeah, I guess I have to do it. So I'm looking forward to that.
But that's kind of interesting, because I didn't know that you would consider Kid Cobra to be the counter for Ribbon Girl. Because I mean I played Ribbon Girl like once, I think. And got super confused of her movement, but because I was thinking that about Springman, like, oh god, Kid Cobra is like the counter to Springman, and then you're saying it as well. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so it's mostly been Ribbon Girl then, I guess.
Yeah.
But wait, let me. Someone is like spell checking for me in the chat for me. It's like it says competitive wrong. Can I blame my English not being my first language here? No, but all right. So what kind of rank have you been able to get up to? I guess Robotoboy, you haven't been able to play ranked that much, but I mean. Anyways.
I'm rank 8 now.
All right.
So I've gotten to play a little bit, but I am playing Springman myself. I do like Springman a lot. The toasters are just really solid, and also I really love that aura, the counter that he can do. That is just so good. And if you keep it ambiguous, it can screw with your opponent big time. So
I also used the aura, but not on purpose, because I don't know how it works, or like I know how the mechanic works, but I keep using it like, how do you say it, like not intentionally. So sometimes it helps me a lot, and then sometimes I don't. So right now I'm like kind of hoping that my opponents see me as some kind of like drunken boxer, where they can't really like they don't know if I'm countering or not. I'm like, hey, no. But how did you? Akio, what's your rank as well?
I was almost 10 before the weekend, but recently I had like a huge losing streak, so now I'm down to 8 again. So
I see. I think I got just now when we were waiting for SireAlligator, I actually almost got up to 9, which has been, I guess, my highest point. But I'm kind of wondering how how stable these ranks are, because it still feels to me like they're very new, so you can't really take into accord like too much on what they mean. Or do you agree with that, or is it?
I do. Splatoon was similar. Splatoon had a similar situation.
Well, how was the ranking system in Splatoon? I actually don't know that.
Very similar. You had, unlike numbers, you just had C all the way through A. So it was C, D, B, A, and then, or A, B, D, C, A, B, C, D, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm getting my alphabet all mixed up, tired. Yeah. But and then they added S rank later. Oh, yeah. But you could get into a rank, and it would be harder and harder to earn points. But you would lose points, significantly more points for losing in higher ranks. So it was harder to maintain your rank. But as the game got older, more people were able to sustain that rank. And you kind of balanced out and always stayed in the same general rank zone. So.
But did it change over time? Because I guess because Splatoon had a lot of success, right? And not kind of esports, but just in general with a lot of players.
It did change over time. It was, like I said, it was chaotic at first. People were gaining and losing ranks like crazy, and then over time it balanced out, and people just kind of stayed where their skill level was.
I see. Okay, so if you kind of go by those experiences, how do you see ARMS fitting into that? Like, will it take a couple of months, or do you think a couple of weeks, or?
It would probably take a couple of months. I imagine they're going to have to patch the ranking system at some point, similar to how they had to do with Splatoon. It's kind of doesn't. I mean, I'm not a fan of how fast you gain ranks in the game myself. Yeah. I think it needs to be more balanced. You can really just shoot up there, especially if you use certain combos that are just really easy to beat down the earlier ranks. Because a lot of people in the early ranks just got the game. They just beat it. They don't have all the arms unlocked. You can use plus arms. You can use electric arms on characters they're not used to. You could just completely blow them away with that. So I do think it'll take some patching and some stuff like that, like Splatoon did. Splatoon's ranked was pretty bad at first and got better over time.
Yeah, I think a lot of the kind of, I guess, matches that I've had, sometimes I've faced someone that has like rank 9, for example, and then they're just like a mummy, and then they have some weird combination that for some reason I won against really easy, but then they might have found some kind of gimmicky way of like playing it, and that's actually been one of the problems I've been having a lot with gimmicky plays. That's I just have no idea how to kind of work around. I don't know if you've had any, like you guys have had any experiences with that, but I think it was like the Slamamander Kid Cobra is one of them, where it's just like kind of spamming, and it's like I don't get a chance to hit. And then there's like the what was it, Bite and Bark, where he uses I think it's the buff and the Seeker or Homie, and then he just stays in a corner and then just shoots the missile at you, and then you can't kind of get any close to it.
That's kind of how you have to play Bite and Bark, though, honestly. Like, if you try to get in close, you can't use Bark very well because Bark gets stuck between you and them. The camera gets messed up. But
yeah,
the only like really frustrating thing I've gone against, like the bane of my existence, is like Helix with double dragons. Like, he just stretches and just has permacharge on the dragons and then just fires like non-stop, and it's like you can't get close. It's like you might be able to get in and a few times, but it's like overall you're just gonna lose that, and it's so I hate it.
I actually had a guy, like, I was streaming and this guy came into my chat. I think he is actually in this chat right now, and he
Zigor Magala.
Yeah, and he was playing Helix, and he was just like, hey, fancy a game? And then I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he picks Helix. I'm like, oh, this, I actually have never faced anyone as Helix in rank, and then he just like beats me like all matches, and I can't even hit him. Like, he got
what
perfect.
Weapons did he use?
I can't remember actually, but I don't think there was any of the default ones. But I just remembered
poppers.
Yeah, yeah, it could have been. But basically, it was like when he is stretched out, like when he stretches out, and you kind of try to punch him. I just couldn't hit him.
You do the pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
So double poppers is surprisingly hard to deal with. Like, you don't think it is, but
I actually saw where that came from. There's a guy called the Gore Magala who was on NeoGaf who found that combo, and he was going around on Alex Valle's stream. Alex Valle is a Street Fighter player, pro Street Fighter player in California.
Oh.
Pretty popular. He's pretty well known. He went on his stream and he jumped in on him, and Alex Valle could not get in, and he's like, "What is this guy doing? I can't get in on it. Just pop, pop." I'm like, oh god, and he just kept saying like, "I can be beaten, I promise." I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, I think like when I've seen these things, like at first, like it seems to be going pretty fast though, because to me, like when the E3 tournament was, like It was the what was it, Ninjara dash and grab thing that everyone was just like talking about, and I haven't seen anyone doing it, like for maybe like 5 or 6 days now when I've been playing it, and when I actually face a Ninjara, they never do it anymore. Like it's just fell off instantly. I don't understand what happened there, but what I don't think. I think these like gimmicky plays, hopefully they will kind of like drop off. But do you guys see them like staying alive for a long time? Because some of them are kind of effective, but you have to kind of know how to go against them. I guess with the Helix, for example.
I personally, so in Splatoon suffered for a while because it had one weapon that would there were two weapons that would dominate a lot of ranked, and that was the Dynamo Roller and the Luna Blaster, and they were everywhere.
Yeah.
What I am worried about, and what I'm hoping that the developers do, and they've actually, in a recent interview with GameXplain, it was on Reddit, I don't know if you saw that, they mentioned that they are willing to do patches, but they're not going to nerf anything, which is important. They're only going to buff things. I think that's the big thing, because a lot of developers nerf the hell out of everything, and then something else shoots up in power. So
that's actually pretty good design.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, my Skype is just lagging a little bit. So sometimes I might interrupt you.
No, go ahead with what you were saying.
That was all I had to say.
Oh, okay.
Just that it's good design. It's good design to buff rather than nerf most of the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of like curious about that decision because it's very like it's basically like, so I played a lot of StarCraft before, like StarCraft 2, and the main thing that they did between StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 was that they buffed basically everything, so everything dies way faster. And so in StarCraft 1 there was just like skirmishes everywhere, like a game could drag on for like a long time because you had like a lot of health on every unit. And in StarCraft 2 there would be like these kind of death balls of armies, and then they would clash eventually, and then it would take like 10 seconds and everything's dead.
Yeah.
And then you have a winner, which felt, for some people, when they compared the games, it felt very kind of coin flippy. And but I guess ARMS is
in fighting games, it's typically better to buff than to nerf. I'd say other games that might not be the best strategy, but in fighting games, that's always been a good thing to do.
Why is that?
The problem with nerfing characters is when you nerf a character, another character always ends up taking its place. And when you continue to nerf the characters, it never really balances it out. You just keep coming up with a new meta with one really strong character. That's always been the problem with fighting games. It happened with Street Fighter 4 at first until they finally started buffing characters. It's a big problem.
I see. I was gonna say, like, I think ARMS is still in that kind of place where, like, just before this I had a match and me and the other guy was punching each other, but we weren't taking any damage, and at the end of the game I had like 80% and he had 75%, and you know, that happens sometimes. So I definitely think ARMS is in that place where you can still buff the crap out of stuff until you like, but yeah, I'm saying that now, but then again I'm the one that's like raging like hell when I get like I get hit by like a 450 rush combo or something, but because like I think I saw there was also like a thread of someone playing Bite and Bark and he got like 570,
like 800.
Yeah,
it was 600.
Yeah, like something like
600. Yeah, but it was nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's like a very I guess that's a very kind of unusual, like you will. It's sort of like the Yabuki combo, right? It's like you're not gonna get it a lot of times, and the Yabuki combo is just like the spring level, anyways. But so Robotoboy, I'm kind of curious of how did you like get to choose Springman? Like what was your kind of motivation to picking?
I like bonchos.
Okay.
Simple as that. I like bonchos. I like pompadours. I mean.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay, for
Yeah,
for my
got the
friends
matching
who
hair.
don't actually understand that word, could you
Oh,
like,
Bancho. So Bancho actually translates to badass, but that's not what it means. That's not how Japan takes it. They look at Banchos as just kind of delinquent schoolboys.
oh
They're
oh
they're
yeah,
really meat-headed. They want to fight all the time. They usually rock pompadours, rockabilly style.
ah
You've seen them, like Yu Yu Hakusho, stuff like that
yeah.
in anime.
Yeah, I
So,
guess his hair. Yeah, it's yeah. Okay, I get what you mean now.
yeah.
But so it wasn't like there was no gameplay mechanic. There was, you were just kind of.
Yep. I like
What-
Banchos.
Select them.
Was it the same with you, Akio? Like Spring Girl was like the main waifu, so you just like.
No, it was just it was like it was her mechanics, I'd say, and also, yeah. I mean, I guess her design. I'm not like a big waifu guy, but
No, I just said it for fun. It's like
yeah.
the waifu wars. There was like this T-shirt that I saw that was just kind of all of the female characters on it, and it was just like I'm like, yeah, I guess it sells T-shirts. That's the thing, right?
I would say Ribbon Girl is still the best waifu.
Oh shit. No, but
But
oh, you're kind of lagging a lot actually. I didn't catch at all what you said there in the end, but Ribbon Girl is the main waifu.
sorry.
That's what I heard.
yep, yeah. Yeah, sorry, my Skype's lagging a bit. I'm using my laptop this time so that I can be in a private room, but that comes at a cost of internet speed. So.
Yeah,
The trade-off.
I see. But another thing that I kind of remembered you saying, Robotoboy, was that you, like when I was asking you for your main, you were saying, oh, Max Brass and Springman, but Max Brass isn't released yet, so like what, like...
I'm really digging Max Brass's design. He's got this, like, I don't know, this cheesy superhero thing going on.
Yeah.
But he's also basically Springman, but better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's going to outclass Springman entirely. I know some people think he's slower, but he's not that much slower. I mean, we've all fought him.
Yeah.
So he isn't that much slower than Springman.
I wonder if...
Springman is a little faster.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if, like, maybe if you played like a way too hard difficulty in the Grand Prix, maybe you have like a bias against Max Brass because they're freaking impossible to beat. But
The insane.
yeah. I think I've only
Cheating at the computer.
like I've only beaten Grand Prix on level 4 with Springman so far, because I did that and it took me 3 hours. And then I was like tired and my hands hurt, and then I was like, I don't want to do this again ever. So I just kind of like I've done it on level 1 and 2 just to get coins, but I mean, yeah. But it's gonna be interesting to see Max Brass and see how he matches up. I just read something like 10 minutes ago about someone kind of giving the ups and downs with Max Brass, but I actually dig his character too, and I'm thinking that he probably might be at least my secondary. Yeah, exactly. Because, by the way, have you guys seen My Hero Academia? It's like an anime.
I actually just found out about that yesterday. I didn't even know it was a thing. I was like, what is this? And I wanted to know, so I looked it up. But he does kind of remind me of that All Might guy,
Yeah.
I guess.
It's like when I just saw him the first time, I'm like, oh, cool, it's All Might, and then it's like, oh, okay. So now my kind of motivation is that he looks like All Might, so I want to have him as a main. But so I can kind of understand your motivation earlier. So yeah, I kind of wanted to move on to the talking a bit about the competitive stuff. And so, oh shit, I didn't switch that. Let me do it like this. There was this overlay that I forgot to switch. Never mind. I posted it on Twitter so I can check it out. Basically, there's a lot of tournaments coming up soon. I don't know if you've seen all of them, but except the ones that you keep have in your store there, the Robotoboy. There's like
Yeah.
let's see what they were. I had this really cool designed picture for this. So just a second. I think there was actually one that was starting tonight, wasn't there, Akio? Like I think
in about an hour.
Yeah. All right. I just signed up to that one, but I have actually no idea what's going on. So do you know what's happening in that tournament?
That's actually I just got a notification for it just now. That's what I'm looking at. They're basically just saying that the check-in is pretty soon, and basically it's through the Min Discord, so I imagine there's going to be like mostly Min-Mins, which is good because I need some practice against good Min-Mins. But
okay.
yeah, and they're basically just doing their own online thing, and I don't know if anybody's going to stream it or if people are just going to stream it individually, but yeah, that's happening in about an hour, so
Yeah. No,
I'll try to do that.
Are you going to stream while you play the tournament? Or
I don't know. Maybe I will.
I see. It's like you get more focused if you don't stream, so I was just wondering.
Yeah.
No, I got the list.
I'll probably lose, so if I stream it, it'll be embarrassing. So I'll just go 0-2 the first round, and then it's like, thanks for coming to the stream.
Oh, that can happen too. I was actually thinking about that as well. Yeah, so but I saw the list here now. So there's 4 tournaments that are happening in this month, basically. There's one called Up in Arms, which is, or not this month, the next month, July.
I saw that one.
Yeah, which will be kind of, I guess it will be an online tournament that'll just be over the day. And then there's the 2GGC Arms Saga that'll be for a weekend, which is actually the 8th and 9th. So it'll be kind of like overlapping, I guess. Then there's also one in Australia, from like all places, happening the 16th, called Newtown Aero Dive, which should be offline if I remember correctly. And the last one is On the Ropes, which seems to be, if I remember correctly, it was like a tournament that's gonna be kept for like a month. So it's gonna be like you play when you have the time, and then I guess it's gonna be some sort of ladder thing.
Splatoon had those a lot. So.
Okay. But were you going to go to the 2GGC Arms Saga, Akio, or?
Yeah, I was planning on it. I still really, really want to, but I have to figure out finances and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know for sure if I'll be able to go, but I would like to. And I was planning on it before, but now it's like I just bought a new computer and I just drained like all of my funds. So I was like, I might stick to online tournaments for now until I know there's going to be like a good return on investment, you know?
Yeah. Or until the Cloud9s and Dignitas and
yeah, exactly.
Ninjas in Pajamas comes.
Once sponsors start paying for me to come out, then.
I was kind of wondering, like, what kind of rule sets would you find better? Because there's been a bit of a difference, like as you said, Robotoboy, earlier about your store there, because like farming coins for the tournaments. I saw that the 2GGC Arms Saga will have only the default arms, actually, for all of the characters.
I actually think that'll end up being a really standardized concept. The thing is, there's 5,000 combinations in the game. There's 5,000 combinations. I mean, you yourself have been a developer. Tell me if you can balance 5,000 combinations properly.
Well, not only that, but there's over 8,000 loadouts. So
yeah, there's that problem. So the big thing is, I know people really wanted it to be custom, and I would love that. But if you go on ranked and you get into the higher ranked, I've watched a lot of videos of high ranked people playing, and it's Hydras. Let's see, Hydras, Poppers, Crackers, Slapamanders, Slamamanders, Megawatts, Thunderbirds, Chillas, and that's about it.
Wait, do you mean so that they are like the most used
That's
ones?
that's what's used. That's what's
Ah.
used. If you get into rank 15, that's all you're going to see.
I see.
Which shows that the meta will become extremely homogenized and very boring because it's all Kid Cobra, Ribbon Girl, Min Min, and a few others. But it's that's it. It's them rocking those same gloves, and it really puts a hamper on. So in fighting games, there's a reason custom loadouts or custom moves has always been kind of frowned upon in the FGC. It's just because of the balance issues. It's almost impossible to balance it properly. So, and the fact that the Nintendo Direct actually advertised, in my opinion, that it advertised the characters with specific loadouts, I actually do feel like they probably, based on how I've played the characters, their loadouts are balanced for their skill set.
Yeah.
So I personally, and my tournament goers have even agreed after playing online, they came to my shop and they were playing in our event, and they were like, we're glad it's default. So, because they did not want that ridiculous Hydra Megawatt, Hydra Popper, Hydra Cracker. It's just
Hydra. Yeah. No, but that's kind of interesting because I would have thought it would be the opposite. That if you have a lot of combinations, there will be kind of like fluctuating metas where someone finds something that someone else hasn't found yet, and then that combination will like take over. But do you think that like because if it's only default arms, won't it be kind of stagnated that it's like this character versus this character because they only have like maybe
there's still multiple versions of that character though. You still have 3 different arms to pick from for that character per match, and depending on the arm, you have a different matchup. For instance, when I see somebody use a Megaton, when I'm fighting a Master Mummy with a Megaton on one and a Revolver on the other, I always put a Boomerang on the side where the Megaton is so that I can go around it, and I always stick a Toaster on the one where the Retorture is so that I can go through it. So that way I always have tools around what they chose. So in my opinion, due to how complex the movement is and the tech, I actually feel that the characters are fairly well balanced against each other, because giving Ribbon Girl a Hydra is really dumb. Let's just face that. That is really dumb. Air to airs were one of the only ways to take her out, and if you can't go air to air because she could stuff it every time.
I see, but it's kind of interesting because like we were talking like the last episode, me, Akio, and SireAlligator, and I think we all unanimously said, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be custom arms in every tournament." Do you kind of still believe that, Akio, or like do you think it'll be standardized, or like do you agree with that, or?
At the beginning. And in the beginning of the game, before like it's popular enough to have like many switches all with like all arms unlocked, I'm fine with it being default arms only. It's just a logistical issue that like default only kind of solves that problem. I would like to see custom loadouts just because that's kind of like where the majority of the depth of the game comes from. If you're saying default arms only, then it's like you said, like it's just kind of gonna be Ribbon Girl and Kid Cobra, because I feel like their default loadouts are kind of like a level of superiority above the rest, especially Ribbon Girl. Well, but during the test punch, I thought like, oh, Ribbon Girl's default is like definitely the best. Like she just kind of has like the tools to deal with any playstyle. But and Kid Cobras are also really strong. And Springman's good. Who was the other one? Springman and Ninjara are both good, but it's like Mechanica, Twintel, Min Min, like their default arms, yes, they're suited to like the playstyle that the devs want you to start as with those characters, but like as far as how well they're able to deal with each other, I don't know. So, but like Robotoboy said, like when you have 8,000 loadout combinations, like that's just to balance that is a whole issue in its own. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think like because I kind of understand what you mean, Robotoboy, with the kind of like there is already enough kind of text in the game to make it interesting with the default arms. Because I just looking at the game now when I've been watching people streaming it, I just feel like just watching how a player moves is like kind of a really fun part, and then I kind of forget. Oh, right, yeah, they have like arms combinations. But then, like, at the same time, I remember when I was playing in the Global Test Punch, and I was playing Helix for, I think, the first 2 or 3 of them. and I only had I think it's the blobs is it the blobs? The
Blorbs.
Blorbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. And I I hated them. Like
It's funny you say that. It's really funny you say that. That Gormagala guy I told you who invented the double popper spam with Helix.
Yeah.
He actually used double blorbs against a guy, just smoked him. So you can get good with him.
Yeah.
It's just you can get good with the blorbs with him. It's just he's very tricky.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me. So like before I was playing ARMS, like a couple of years ago, I was really into Team Fortress 2. And Team Fortress 2 had kind of a competitive scene, but it wasn't, it had some sponsors, but it wasn't as big as Counter-Strike and, will never be. But the interesting part with that was that, so since there were no sponsors, the communities became very kind of isolated from each other. So there was this like European community with a league, and then there was the American community with a league, and then Australian and the South Korean one. And they all had like their own different rule sets. So when they actually got the money to like travel to the other place, it would always become like this kind of, which rule set are we gonna play with? And one thing that became a topic that everyone talked about was that in America they allowed all the weapons in Team Fortress 2, and it was like. I don't know how many weapons there are now, but like thousands or at least
a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And then in the European one, they only allowed kind of, I think it was like a maximum of 10 customized weapons. So they had this like custom list that you had to load in, and just judging by that, when I saw it, the European scene, it was really cool because you could get basically like the vanilla version of the game. You could like extract the 100% skill from that, like the way it was meant to be designed. But then when you were seeing the American matches, and they were using like there was this guy with bombs, and then instead he used a sword and like a shield and tackled people, and it was like completely different from how he used to play, and it was so fun to watch. So I'm kind of wondering like if it's gonna be like a spectator thing as well, because it was really fun to see the American games compared to the European ones, but maybe it's like too complex. So in the ARMS kind of sense, it would be like, would it be too complex to have like all these ARMS just for a viewer's perspective? Like, would they be able to understand it, or would it just be like, way too much for them, I guess?
I don't think that's true. I think either way it can be interesting to watch. I think it would actually add to the appeal to have all custom arms unlocked. As far as a viewer sport goes, to see it. The big thing, I think the problem with it is that it would get really boring really fast, because like most metas, it would fall into a few arms. The superior ones would become the ones you see in every competition.
Yeah.
You would stop seeing any of the inferior ones, and that would cause a lot of problems. And if they have to buff arms, then you also have to buff characters, because character abilities play into all that as well. There's just a lot of stuff you'd have to mess with. I honestly, as far as balance goes, I don't think the game's very balanced yet. I really don't. I don't think it's very balanced. I do think that on a low level it's pretty balanced, but at a high skill level it is really unbalanced. There are a lot of Kid Cobras. At rank 15, it is like mostly Kid Cobras with Hydras, Poppers, and Bubs or Buffs. It's nothing else. So, when you've got the highest skill level playing the same character with the same loadout, we'll see how long that stays. We haven't had enough time to see it evolve.
Yeah.
But if it stays like that for a long time, I don't see custom arms being a viable option. Because unlike Akiosjo, I actually don't agree on that one. I do think that Kid Cobra's loadout is kind of underwhelming in some areas. For instance, the Cooler Ring kind of sucks.
That's like my main weapon. But yeah, go, keep going.
I don't think it's as good as other ice weapons in the game. It's probably better than the Dragon, in my opinion. But the Chilla does its job better, and then the Slamamander is all right. I do think that the Slapamander and Slamamander are easy to dodge myself.
No.
They have a delay like the hammers, and if you time it, you can dodge it every time. So, but they do help you lead people into stuff. So,
I think it's going to be interesting to see, because now the tournaments that I mentioned earlier, the offline ones, both of them will have standard gloves, and I think both of the online ones will have all of the gloves, because they're kind of like expecting you to, like, oh well, if you have a main,
it's on you.
Yeah, it's on you basically, because now I kind of understand it both in the sense that, you know, it's the argument that you had, that it's like too complex, or like it'll be like one meta that's kind of boring, but it's also the kind of added thing of you don't have the time to fix a setup like with 10
There's a couple
switches.
reasons, yeah.
And but I'm kind of curious of how that will be in like maybe next year, because so I joined this or talked with some people that are doing Smash tournaments here, and they're like, they want to do an ARMS tournament in February, and I'm like, that might be enough, but then can't you just like ask people to bring their switches? No, okay, that'll be annoying. I don't know. But oh yeah, I kind of forgot. But the motion, like the controllers, we talked a lot about the controllers last time. Have like Akio, I know that you played motion controllers. Do you still do that, or?
Yeah, some people. I haven't dealt with any of the issues that people complain about motion controls. I understand that there are valid complaints for some people, but I think largely the issue is just people just naturally not holding the controllers like exactly correct. Like I do have to kind of, you know, finagle them in a certain way to make sure I'm holding them correct, but like, you know, blocking isn't an issue for me. Dashing out of block is easy. So I don't have any issues with motion controls, so I'm just going to keep using them because they're more fun, but I know for some people that's just harder for them, so I'm totally fine with either control scheme.
I see. And I haven't asked you before, Robotoboy, but are you playing with motion controls or the grip or pro controller? Both. Okay.
I use both pro controller and motion controls. I personally don't like the motion controls when for blocking. I don't. I know that some people say it's really accurate, but it's so easy, so sensitive, and so easy to do other things when you're not trying to. Personally, I think the block doesn't always come out when I want it to. I can't block on reaction as well as I can with the button. But I do think that could be fixed with putting block on a button. That's really all I think they got to do. But I like both schemes a lot. It depends on my mood and who I'm kind of playing. So
that's kind of interesting. For me, it's been like so. Back in the day when I was playing StarCraft and I wanted to become good at it, I got carpal tunnel in both of my arms, and I couldn't do anything for like 3 months. So now when I played ARMS, like on the release, I played 2 days, and afterwards my arms were hurting like hell, and the thing that I kind of noticed now, like some day ago, that was just I played with the motion controllers to just kind of like ease. How do you say it? Like, so you don't stress the same muscles, I guess. Like just for fun. So then instead of just playing ranked, I just played party mode with motion controls, and that was like, I could still have fun, but not be in pain. So for me, it's like I'm switching between them, but not in that sense. Like I'm only playing ranked with the buttons, and when I can afford a pro controller, I'd love to have one. So
yeah, they're pretty good.
Donate. No, but actually, that kind of reminds me, because they released a firmware update for the Switch the other day, and I noticed in the updates that they said now there's a lot of controllers that suddenly work on Switch. I don't know if you guys have had any experience with trying them out, but I read through the list, and some of the stranger ones was like, I think I saw like a Polygon article or something that said like, you can play with the Pokken controller, And then when I looked at it, like if you have seen the Pokken controller, it was for the Wii U. It's basically like a D-pad, and then it has 4 buttons, and I think the shoulder buttons, but it doesn't have any joysticks. So someone at the comments were like, "Hey, so how do you block?" And they're like, "You don't." And then it was like, "Oh, okay, that's like a big part of the game." But then I also saw that they with an adapter you are able to now play with the GameCube controllers. I have no idea how that setup would look like, but it kind of also begs the question now for tournaments. Do you think that controllers will be banned? Because there was a stick controller there as well. If they have enough buttons, they will be able to be played. Do you think that there's one of them that shouldn't be able to be played with at tournaments or like anything similar like that?
I think everything should be allowed.
Okay.
Personally, I think they're balanced enough that everything should be allowed. You can still block with the motion controllers. I'm getting messaged by SireAlligator. He's asking, should he even join? He said he got lost in the moment.
Yeah, I saw that he was playing guitar, like in the Jeopardy thing. I mean, we can, if he wants to, he can always join. I can't actually switch that, so if you want to write that to him, you can be my guest and kind of write that to him. Because you're my
If
guest.
anything changes in the layout, it'll...
Yeah, no, it's fine. We'll just fix the layout. It just takes a few seconds.
Yeah, he hold on.
He wants in?
I think so.
All right. Cool. Let's see. Can I? Okay. All right. This is brace for
It's gonna
impact.
get weird.
Yeah, brace for impact, chat. Now the layout is gonna be totally fucked there for a couple of seconds. It's like okay. Let me. Okay.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I need to wait one moment.
Yeah, we all
Hey.
need to wait one moment here. Hello.
There he is.
Because now the... Okay. Give me a second here. This is like...
I have missed everything. Like,
No.
really everything.
We haven't talked about everything, but about half of the topics that we were gonna go through. And for anyone that's like new to the show, this is SireAlligator joining us live from Russia.
Lights in Russia. that sounds like from another planet.
No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
not. It's totally.
But it's kind of interesting how the what is it? Like when we're streaming, your camera is always like pitch black, while the rest of us is like kind of in the morning. And it's just
Yeah, it's night right now, but I always stream like that with like only some lightning and that's all.
but
So yeah.
so maybe you guys can like update what we've talked about while I fix with the kind of overlay here just for a second.
Yeah, you can just tell me what was the last topic you talked about, and I can just catch on.
We were kind of talking about balance and controller. Like, we were asking if the controller schemes if any of them should be banned or anything, and I don't think they should. We were also talking about the balance of the game as far as custom gloves or not, and rule sets, which is kind of what we last went over for tournaments.
Well, I don't have any insight on that besides that, like, the guy who created ARMS, I always don't remember his name. What was his name?
The producer's name is Mr. Yabuki.
Yeah, Mr. Yabuki, yeah. Mr. Yabuki said that if you want to play competitively, you should play with motion controls. That's what he said. So, yeah.
Yeah, he did. He sort of said that. He said that when they really get into it, they do that. But he did say that in a recent interview, he thinks that everybody should play with what they're comfortable with.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I think everything works, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The same here. I mean, the only problem I have is that people are asking for button mapping, but button mapping is not
I saw
a good
you talking to that on that one
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah. I'm not offended about it. It's like when people are asking, but it's not a quality of life thing. It's more like a balancing thing. Because if they will include the better mapping into the game, every piece of balance will go out of the window, and yeah, it's gonna be really hard to get accustomed to that. Because I want my own motion controls. Maybe I just want to swing my arms like that and just I don't know. I want to have I don't want to have remapped swinging
The
motions.
only thing I agree on is I do think that block could be on ZL. That's my personal opinion. I think it's the only thing that I think it could stand to be moved.
Yeah.
But
I also think that. Wait, can you guys hear me now? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I can hear you.
I thought I was like muted. But another thing that I also would like to change is that basically the right joystick right now with the Pro controller, it's still like it doesn't do anything if you're playing a 1 versus 1. So why not have curving the right arm on the right control stick and left on the left? I mean, then you could have the kind of, sending the arms in different directions and stuff.
It actually functions identical to the motion controls. When you fire an arm off with motion controls, you're still immobile. So when you do that with the joystick, it's not like you're still immobile.
Okay, but I mean, like for some, it takes the stress off because if you're doing the kind of punching, like if you punch in an X, for example, then you have to like press, then turn right, and then press the other button and turn left. But if you had both of the joysticks, then you could just like kind of I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah, but yeah, I think. I don't know how if we wanted to like kind of vote of what we thought about the what we thought about the standards gloves versus non-standard gloves. What was your kind of vote for that, Al? With the kind of like, should tournaments only have standard gloves, or should they allow all of the glove combinations for the characters?
Well, the entire diversity and the tactic comes from the different arms. So if you will ban all the arms, then you'll probably ban the main idea of the game, like changing the arms and getting accustomed to the main power of the character. Because the main power of the character is not his strengths. It's just like a little gimmick that helps you get accommodated to the arms that you have picked, and that's all.
I don't know. Ribbon Girl's pretty hard to hit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering one question. It's not like completely related to this one, but now when I have 3 guys here that can talk about arms, how do you shoot up?
Pull back on the joystick.
No, but like if you imagine the cinema level, right, with the bouncing cars and stuff. If someone bounces like above you, so they're like completely above you. If you shoot forwards. You don't shoot like up.
You can't shoot up.
You can't. So
not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go air to air, which means you meet them in the air and shoot, or you can wait upon landing where they have landing lag.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Well, okay. Thanks. I learned that now.
I don't. By the way, I don't know if you have talked about that, but did you already talked about what is like the worst character to stand off against in Ranked or somewhere?
Like the tier list, I guess, or something.
Not the tier list, but more like of the not broken mechanics, but some like really bad gimmicks that were given by.
Yeah, we went through some of the gimmicks.
Poppers.
Yeah, double poppers were one, and then there was the what was it? The campy bite and bark was one of the ones that I've met, and then the kind of Slamamander spam Kid Cobra is one.
I can add one more. This
sure,
is like.
Go ahead.
I feel like this is more specific to me because I have never seen anyone talk about that. But whenever Ninjara uses his dodge, and before he appears, you can predict where he appears, of course. But the problem is whenever he uses dodge, he just disappears. And when it happens, your game loses lock-on on him. And then everything goes to hell because when you try to predict him and he goes, you know that he's going to be like right there. Your hands go through him or like near him. It's never going to. If you like try to predict, it's never gonna to. You have to attack like 1 second after he appears, so he will be attacking first anyway. You can't attack before him, and that's like bugging me off really hard. You can attack any character like after the dodge. You can predict where they're going like with one arm because it's still locked on. But when he dodges, it's never locked on. It's like just goes away and you never locked on him.
I think one of the things that kind of bothers me the most with the game right now is the things that you can't kind of get away from or like escape from. Is the like if you're a twin tail, for example, when you kind of jump and dash and hold the motion and then you fall down. Like every time, if you time the attack correctly, you will always hit her, and it's like those are the kind of things that I don't like about the game right now. Where it's just like if you do something correctly, you will always hit, and it's like you can't. The other person can't do anything about it. Basically,
They have to counter with gloves. Basically, they have to counter with glove weight.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like it. I don't know. Maybe it's too new for me, basically. But I feel like some of the times where I've been playing Springman, it's like I feel helpless, basically. But I think it's just me being shit.
Yeah, he
at the
can't
game.
jump much. He has like no aerial defense.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself when I play, I'm like, stop jumping, stop! And then...
By the way, the worst twin tail that I have seen is like playing only on ground. I have not seen her jumping at all, but her dodging was crazy. I don't know what to do with her.
Was
She's
it
like,
a Japanese video?
No.
Okay, because there was this there was a Japanese video that popped up on Reddit like some hour ago, which was basically she kind of what is it? She does like bounces the dash ability. What do you call that? The twin tail dash ability freezes.
I just call it witch time.
Oh.
I call it witch time.
Okay, she does the witch time on like one glove, and then when the other glove hits, he kind of parries it. You know, when you block it and then dash forward.
Yeah.
So it's like he takes one of the arms and then blocks the other one and just goes straight into it with the electrical. God damn it! I can't remember any names for the gloves, but the electrical yellow gloves. And
the toaster.
Yes, Sparky. Yeah, exactly. And it was basically a 15-minute long video with a Japanese guy explaining why this is good, but. He was basically saying the same thing for 15 minutes, but it looked very interesting.
Well, nah, I have seen her in my matches, and I was like playing with her 5 or 6 times, and every time I was like destroyed with any character I tried, even Kid Cobra, because Kid Cobra has that broken quadruple jump, or
it's
like
a dash.
the dodge. Yeah, the dash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty good, but when I was playing against him or her, I don't know, when I try to hit, she just immediately does this. I don't know what is this motion, like a zigzag motion of a dash, and she has like this little tidbits of her witch time that she inserts in this zigzag motion, so you can never hit her. So she always goes straight to you, but it's always like this motion. But it's never just straight or right or left. No, it's always left and right or left, and then like a little pulse, so you get thrown off. I couldn't do it. She just perfected me like 4 times. I got perfected 4 times by her.
Oh my god, that's rage-inducing.
Well, I was like, I liked that so much that I wanted to play more to understand, but I didn't understand to think how he does that. It's so fast.
I think the worst one I had was when I first met the first Kid Cobra with the Slamamanders, like 2 Slamamanders, and I kept losing to him, and I was like, no, I'm gonna beat you, and then I think I gave up after like 1.5 hours of like just pure losing versus him, and I think I had to take a break after that, basically. But guys, I want to move on to the next topic, actually, which is game lore. Heyo.
Game lore.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember, Akiosjo, that you made a bunch of videos before with the map and everything. And Robotoboy, you have translated the tweets, basically. Is there like a lot of stuff happening right now, or is it just kind of like it's just the tweets from the Japanese one, or are they cool? Do we learn anything from them?
We've learned a lot, actually.
Yeah.
We learned about the ARMS organization as a whole and what it is.
Okay.
We've learned kind of where they came from and other things of that nature. We learned how early they started showing up. The ARMS phenomenon, the actual trait, started showing up like 15,000 years ago, or 1,500 years ago. That's the oldest recorded history. I could go into it, but the ARMS laboratory is an offshoot. Recently, there was a tweet that showed off the original ARMS agency. Basically, they're the Illuminati.
Okay.
They're the Illuminati of ARMS. That their symbol is even a fist with an eye in it. So I'm like, Illuminati. But
is that the official ARMS Twitter that is posting all of this? Okay, so it's not it's. So is that like the main source of all of these kind of things?
Yeah, basically. The UK, Nintendo UK Twitter tried to post a thing saying, without the masks, what did they say? They said, when ARMS users wear the masks, they can use the arms. When they take them off, their arms go back to normal, which that is not
that was strange.
Twitter said at all. The Japanese are so wrong that they basically had floppy arms and had to get the mask to control it. So
I remember seeing one of the pictures that actually had like I think it was like a kind of old like English man type thing, and then there was this mask laying next to it.
That's the one where they talk about the agency, the Illuminati beginnings.
Okay,
I feel
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like this is so disjointed from the main game because right now, when I was playing it, I was like, yeah, like Grand Prix, some kind of a story, and there's nothing there, like none, no story.
They did hint that they're going to add more, possibly.
Yeah, I know.
So,
maybe I have expected more from the ending because when I got that picture, you win, and I was like, this feels so Taken 1 or something. I don't know. It's so old.
I think for me it's like basically a mix between Tekken and Overwatch right now, because you get it's so weird how Overwatch kind of turned everything for all of the games, like they did something and now everyone has to like kind of adapt to what they did. But
this is actually common in Japan.
Really?
This kind of story, this kind of thing. It's a way to engage. Japan's big about the social aspects of games. That's their big thing. You've been there, you
Mobile.
know.
Yeah, I mean, we did it too, but I want to hear you say it.
So
go ahead.
Basically, Japan is very social about their games and video gaming and culture in general. They're very community oriented. Monster Hunter is big over there for that reason. So I mean, they have a lot of popular games that they really like to play. But they're typically always mobile games, like on phones and stuff, because you can meet up with your friends and stuff. Yeah. So the best way to interact with them is to use Twitter or what's the one that Japan uses? I can never remember the name.
Line, maybe?
Line. Yeah, Line, that's it. They use Line. There's several Line promotions with video games. I think they had an Animal Crossing promotion recently, a couple months ago.
But do they have a line for ARMS? Do you know that?
I don't think so. No. I think they're using Twitter for that one.
Oh, I see.
Just Twitter, because it's supposed to be from Biff or Kobushi's perspective.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we had that too at the game company that we were working at. It was just like kind of at the beginning it was supposed to be one of the characters talking, which was basically our game's Biff, like the weird little guy. And then after a while it's just like I can just talk normally. I don't have to pretend that I'm a little alien. And then it was But I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same like being Nintendo and comparing it to like a 10-man company. That's
kind of from Sanrio. Sanrio started that. So
but
with the mascot.
Man, I would love to have Biff as like fighter. Like I saw someone suggest it, and I was like, dude, he would be like a Yoda. Like you know, when you saw Yoda in Star Wars, you're like, yeah, he's pretty cool, but he's kind of old and wise. And then in Episode 2, he just freaks out and just like bounces around, and like he's a third of the height of anyone else.
Yeah.
I feel like if Beef would be ordered, he would be the Gon of the game, like from the Tekken 3, the Dragon Gon. Like the ones that you cannot hit, the ones that you cannot follow, with really annoying moves. So no Beef, please. we need someone that we can hit.
Yeah, I like, but okay, just think about the idea. If there would be a Biff in the game, like what would his kind of abilities be? Would you think? Like.
They kind of hinted that he would be in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like he would be.
Yeah, like at the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe I should wear a mask.
Yeah.
The main boss of the game.
That's pretty cool. But because
I actually have this weird theory they're gonna make him this hulking big buff dude or something, and still have Biff's head.
Put him in another mech suit.
Or just make him like JoJo style.
Yeah.
I thought the same. I thought he will be flying around in a small like saucer sink like a Modoc. And
Oh.
he'll be just sitting in this and trying to punch you with his arms or like little arms that are coming from the
Jesus.
sink.
Now I kind of thought of him as being like, imagine the snake park, but like the tiny disc, like if you make that even smaller and then put it in the air, but Biff is on that would be like the most terrible thing ever. Like I think I would like be disconnecting from every game if I faced that. But but are there like any other characters that actually could be hinted? Because in like if you compare it to Overwatch, there's such a like kind of grand story that they can reference someone's past or someone's brother and everything. But in ARMS, there's just like it's the characters. There's Biff, then there's like Master Mummy's family. I think
They did just reference Mechanica's father, though.
Yeah,
that's true.
Not father, but sister.
No, it's her father.
It was
her
it
father
was
is in the picture with her and Max Brass.
Yeah,
I actually
think,
translated that tweet.
Yeah,
It
looked like a sister because there was someone who said that it was a sister, and then I think they released a tweet saying, "No, that's her dad," and everyone's like, "Okay." But I don't know if you guys watched that. There was a video like Easter eggs in ARMS video. I don't remember what channel who made that, but they were and they basically took a picture of that Mechanica's dad thing. But they also showed one thing that I haven't seen mentioned anywhere else, which was basically that in the Helix map, with the one with the tubes, there's like in the background there's like two statues of now I don't know these words in English, but it's basically like a statue of the kind of shoulder and
like
head part. Yeah, a bust.
A bust.
Like there's two kind of bust statues in the background that like one of them looks kind of like Springman, but it's not Springman.
Yeah, with his hair.
Yeah, and the other one looks not like Springman at all, but just like two slender figures. Like those are the only characters that I've seen like that could be in the background, I guess.
I feel like they're more connected to the story of the ARMS. Like they're like really long ago. Maybe they're from that secret service of the ARMS, and like the busts of the leaders or the status of all of that thing. Yeah. And like these guys from labs are like looking over for that bust, like look to them, like aspire to be like them. Like the guys who started all of this. Like the biggest problem I have with this game yet, and nobody talked about, and Twitter as well, is that there's like a company, like a Mechanica walking in, that produces stuff, and other companies that produces ARMS. How do they... Nobody has talked about the companies that are producing ARMS. The ones that Mechanica is, and different ARMS have different brands. It's not like, it's a whole conspiracy theory, but no. I feel like the Mechanica part is especially the big one, because there's like a huge company that specializes, like, they have a special field in doing some weapons or something like that.
They're probably sponsored by them.
And the fighters also have individual sponsors, like logos all over their costumes and stuff too. So.
Springman and Ribbon Girl have Billy. Mechanica has Dodorgan. And then I haven't really seen any for any of the others. And Min Min had one, but they didn't really have I couldn't really understand what they were trying to say the name was. So because it was in Chinese, and I don't know.
The biggest one yet is that I feel like someone is trying to weaponize ARMS. I don't think it will be just all this fancy dandy stuff.
Definitely. I mean, Headlock's title was The Secret Weapon.
Yeah. That's the thing I was talking about, and I feel like
some Pokemon War backstory going on here.
We definitely know one thing, that the Headlock definitely escaped from the same lab that was Helix in, because there was like one screenshot of him in the background. We have seen like half of his face, or like eye. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that reminds me that sorry for interrupting, but Max Brass and Springman, dad and son.
Oh, definitely.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm on that bandwagon.
But I'm kind of I kind of hope that they go all in with the kind of My Hero Academia story, where it's like it's actually they just stole everything from that series, and it's just like, oh well, he is All Might, and that's like Deku, and All Might, can be strong, and Springman, it's like if they just go all in with it and kind of make it a satire thing, I'd love it. But I guess I don't know. I think, but he was old, right? Was Max Brass old, or because it says
he's old as in Springman?
Yeah, I mean, But
Old enough to be his dad.
it can be like one of those like Hollywood things where you actually think they're 30, but they're like 55 or something. Goddamn Brad Pitt's being baby-faced for like 20 years.
One thing that I really want is, since I guess they were saying the art style was kind of based off of like Akira and like other like anime and such.
Yeah.
I really want like just like Nintendo to produce like a mini series of comics to go along with ARMS, and we just get like some story that way. Like I really want to see like Springman like joining the ARMS Association to like prove to his dad that he's like strong enough to fight, and then his mom like like doesn't want him to fight and all this stuff. We just get like little backstories for each character.
Or like they have in Overwatch, like the trailers. I mean, that would never happen with Nintendo, I feel. But comics is like. Yeah, comics is at the level I could see Nintendo, because
they did release an official Splatoon manga, so I do think that if it's popular enough, they'll probably do it.
That'd be cool. And like Valve did kind of something similar with Portal.
And Team Fortress 2 as well.
I was just thinking, like, there's probably so much, like, already so much, like, what is it, doujinshi of ARMS already? Like the kind of self-made manga that's like Rule 32,
not
34, or not kosher. And then Nintendo's like, yay, oh shit. And then, but
no, it's Japanese. They're all right with that. So definitely. I mean, they have Akihabara and they're like comic where they sell the same stuff. Like you can just go there, draw some ARMS doujinshi, and go sell it at the comic and they will be all right with that.
Yeah, that's actually interesting, because I remember that the doujinshi, I didn't really understand how the copyright works there, but basically if you do doujinshi and sell it, it's okay with a lot of things. But then, like, Nintendo is like the most, like, they don't want anyone to touch their IP, and they will like cease and desist everyone about it. It's like
there is like an unspoken rule: you can only sell that at Comic-Con or special occasions. You cannot sell it besides that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in Japan, it's also kind of a lot less of a like they're not as lawsuit happy over there. I'm just saying. They're more lawsuit happy globally than they are in their own country.
Yeah.
But man, it's kind of weird. I was there, but I never went to that Comic-Con because there was too many. But now I kind of actually want to go there just to see ARMS manga. It's like queuing for 6 hours to just... I need my...
And tournaments.
Oh, I didn't think.
Yeah, Comic-Con is a big thing for tournaments. Splatoon had several of its first Japanese tournaments at Comic-Con, and I believe a couple of my Japanese friends said that Comic-Con will be having ARMS tournaments.
That's cool.
So,
and they said in chat too that the copyright laws are different there. I mean, I lived in Japan, but it's not like I learned the copyright laws. All right, it's just like it's like I was just being there. But I'm kind of curious since. Well, now it should be probably obvious that I have no idea what anything about Splatoon, but how frequent were the updates? Because I feel like Splatoon and ARMS are kind of going hand in hand with how often they update the game. Like,
so the updates were kind of slow at first. They trickled out really slowly. We had I think our first update was a map, and then it took forever. We had like a whole month of almost nothing, and then we had the paintbrush. And then it was like a whole another 3 weeks of nothing. And then we got another map.
So
it was
like a weapon.
It's one of the weapons. It was a weapon.
Okay.
Yeah.
They advertised it before they released the game, so we knew it was coming. Similar to Max Brass. So it was like, okay, so you're gonna add a couple new weapons. But then, as it became popular in Japan, since ARMS sold well in Japan, we can actually expect a similar turnout to some extent.
That's pretty cool.
Splatoon got a lot of updates. It got a ton of maps. It's very loaded full of content now.
The events as well.
Yeah, it has so much content.
Yeah, so they follow their idea of if it's not popular, we're not going to make anything for that to make it popular. So they usually look for response, and as usual, as we have spoken in the first podcast, Nintendo new IPs is a really bizarre thing. They are really hesitant to make new IPs, and when they do one, they lay low and let's see how it goes. And when they never try to go all out, throw every PR move available to them. They don't want to spare any energy for that. So because if it fails, they will just use their energy and resources to boost their already known franchises. So, for example, they have announced the Metroid Prime 4, and they are definitely going to pour money there because people like it, but not a lot of people like it in Japan. People like side-scrolling Samus, but not the Prime one. And because ARMS is selling so well, we can expect something like the same things that we have seen with Splatoon, of course. Because
all right, but I think because last episode went on to be like 2 hours long, so we have to like I kind of want to skip to the next topic actually, not to burst any bubbles. But the last topic that I wanted to talk about, basically, like one of the big ones, was that just a kind of learning, because we talked earlier about just the amount of text that are in the game and the movement base and everything like that. Now I actually wanted to show a video here, but my overlay is pretty darn screwed, so it'll take like 10 minutes for me to fix it. But one of the channels that I've been kind of following closely is the ARMS University and of course Akiosjo channel. And the ARMS University one has been like just kind of bite-sized videos of like 30 seconds where they just show some tech.
But good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff, and it's well produced. And Akiosjo has been more kind of going more in depth and kind of more talking about one character for a longer period of time instead of these like bite sizes. Have you seen anything else, or do you feel like something is missing, Akio, from this kind of like videos? Because I haven't watched a lot of them, but I know that there's a lot of out there, basically.
I haven't seen too many. I've seen maybe like one or two other channels kind of dipping their toe in that water, but I mean, my best case scenario would be people, leave that alone, and that's up to me. And I get that entire market.
Yeah.
But I just pulled out my headphones. But yeah, I haven't seen too many things. My channel, like, what I originally wanted to like base it off of was like SSBM tutorials. Like for Melee, there's just kind of a channel that's like, it's kind of a mixture between the two. Like they do go in depth on like individual characters, and then they'll just kind of focus on like one tech. And I'd like to do that, but the main issue right now is like there really is nothing like so complicated in the game that people can't just like figure out on their own. Like I'm kind of just filling in needed space here, but hopefully in the future there's more complicated things that come up that I will actually need to teach people. So.
But
well, we'll see where that goes.
Do you feel like there's anything kind of like if you don't take the kind of character guides that you're doing into consideration and the bite-sized ones, do you feel like there is something that's kind of like missing right now in the like that should be analyzed, or and I leave that question to all of you. Like, do you feel like there's someone that's something that should be analyzed, basically?
Off the top of my head.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is short. Off the top of my head, I would just say general control, like how to aim your arms correctly, especially with motion controls. That might take some people getting used to. There's a little more precise motion controls than most other games that use them. So it's like maybe there could be a tutorial on like, okay, here's how you like land a hit with the Slumamander every time. Because I know some people have trouble with that. So.
Frame data. And all of the attributes to the plus arms.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think.
Well,
frame data is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to know what jump recovery is on every character. We need to know. I need to know all of that.
Hitboxes as well.
Hitboxes, yes, that's the one thing that I'm really interested in, because right now we don't know. Well, we of course know that Master Mummy is like shitload of hitboxes stacked on each other because it's impossible to play against really fast characters. And well, I feel like this game is too young to get into analyzing it really deep. We should wait for like one first big update so we can like see how it changes stuff. Or for example, we should see first balance update, because we really don't know yet what to do about the game. We don't know how to play professionally, because I have seen some crazy people on like rank 1, and I have seen like really bad people on rank 10 and so on. It's still really early. Like any fighting game takes like I think 6 months or 7 months to get itself going in a good community and make itself very well known, if it's popular, of course. Because even Tekken 7, that like really well known franchise, it will take some time to see how it's different from the previous Tekkens and so on.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing about frame data is with old games, it's easier to commit yourself to studying frame data because like the game is not going to change. Like the effort you put into like studying hitboxes and frame data is actually going to be worth it. But it's like if we were to devote like hundreds of hours into figuring out hitboxes for ARMS, and then it's like a balance update comes next month, and all of our work is just gone. So
I mean, you could find frame data pretty easily, but it's not that hard. You just need recorded footage and study it frame by frame. But
yeah. Still, it's like the effort that you want to go through, just to have it patched and just do it all over again. But
yeah,
I mean, it's still going to be useful, but
yeah,
I
do think that's true to some extent.
I kind of feel like something that hasn't been like analyzed. Oh, I thought I was hearing something on the floor, but it was...
Yeah, it's a dog. It's just crazy. Come on.
Yeah, the one thing that I haven't been like seeing kind of analyzed is the what is it? The actual maps. I don't know if that would be interesting, but just kind of seeing like having a video kind of break down this map is bad for this character because of this, or like because I've seen posts that basically say that like basically now it's kind of a chaotic thing where everyone's just saying no, this is bad, no, this is bad, and then no one is actually kind of showing why. Like I saw someone saying that the scrapyard should be banned because because Mechanica's like she's bad in aerial fights, and I was like, but what do you like base that on? Is that like you played an hour and then you were like, yeah, I lost like 5 games on this map.
The only map I think everyone can universally agree needs to be banned on a competitive level is Snake Park, but I think that's pretty obvious.
I like
Snake
level actually.
Snake Park annoys me so much because it's like I know that I'm a pretty good player, but it's like when you get on Snake Park, all skill level is just totally like not relevant to who's gonna win Snake Park. Like it annoys me so much. It got to the point where like I was getting so depressed about Snake Park. If I would see the loading screen, like before I would even see who my opponent chose as a character, I would just like shut off my Switch. I'm like, I'm not playing on Snake Park.
That's actually the fun part because it doesn't matter who I play in Snake Park. I always win. Well, like I have lost only one game in the Snake Park. I mean, I can like predict people jumping on those things. I can grab them before that. I can also ride around. The best tactic for me in the Snake Park is like jump on that thing, come close, jump off, just punch, jump again, and go around. If you will stay on that thing, you will just get knocked out if you know what you're doing. Actually, that's a really good touch stage if you know what you're doing, because right now people just, I think, not really accustomed to it.
The snake boards kind of eliminate some of the characters' gimmicks. They kind of they also turn like Master Mummy into a fast character, which is not necessary. So I personally
Girl,
think
it negates everything I stand for.
Well, but we have other stages and like characters who interact them with like really well. For example, we have Ribbons Girl stage that is not really great for Ribbons Girl, but then we have a Springman thing, and if Ribbon Girl is in the Springman stage, then it's like really crazy. She can jump around. She can do not triple but quadruple or 5 times the jump from the stage. And like
I think Ribbon Ring is pretty good for Ribbon Girl. I usually feel like the matchup swings in my favor whenever I go there.
She can get really high and then maintain that height.
Yeah.
And then, but in like Spring Stadium, I think that like as far as that one goes, I honestly think Master Mummy sucks there. And Mechanica both. Because
I've thought a lot about like character matchups and stage benefits and stuff. I've tried putting matchups down on paper, but it's like like there's just so many things to consider. It's but I have thought about it quite a bit. Like casually, like when I'm playing with my wife, and like we'll go to Ramen Bowl, and she plays Min. I'll be like I'll say to her like, oh, I think Min has like the advantage to Ribbon Girl on Ramen Bowl. Like I'll just say that. But it's like if I was to sit down and try to think about like every single stage, I don't know if I could do it. But it's like I know it when I'm there.
No, but
you can just feel it.
I'm kind of wondering, is there like final destination of ARMS right now? Like the one map that's just like kind of flat, and then it's just like 2
At
characters.
my tournaments, people like Spring Stadium. That's their favorite stage.
I feel like the whatever it's called, the championship ring. I feel like that's also a pretty good neutral stage.
Sky Stadium.
Sky Stadium.
Oh, the Sky Stadium. Yeah, it's pretty neutral.
There's not really anything about that really gives an advantage to anybody.
But you can't play that in ranked, right? Or...
no,
not
it's
yet.
not out yet. So.
Yeah, not yet.
Oh yeah, because it's the Max Brass. All right. Yeah, you're
when
right.
it comes out though, That'd be a good
Yeah, we're definitely going to go with the same patterns that we have right now, like new character, new stage, like 1-on-1. I don't think maybe it's just my idea, but I feel like if Arms becomes more competitive, we will get some special maps for competitive fights, like really neutral things that just can benefit everyone, and not all these gimmicky stages that are made for each character. Because like I still remember some stages that made me really angry. For example, like Ninjara and the Master Mummy's stage, because jumping Ninjara that is like always teleporting, that is so bad. You cannot hit him at all. And which one was that? Oh yeah, the Ribbons Girl stage is great. I like it. Well, actually, I like almost every stage, but Ribbons Girl stage is my favorite because you can just stand around the boxes and just like rain hell on people because they don't see where the arms come from.
Yeah.
You just stay behind the boxes and just make them surprised.
Ribbon Ring really accentuates movement for every character, and I really like that.
Hey, and Master Mummy is crying there.
Yeah.
I feel like the one thing that I really don't like with the Ribbon Girl stage as a Spring Man main, I guess, is that I have so much trouble with jumping up on top of things. Like there was some game that I was showing it, and I was like just trying to show how hard it is for me to like actually get up on the box, because what
I actually
happen
caught
is, like,
your stream.
yeah, like what's happening is like I'll jump and then I'll get on the edge and then I'll just
You
drop
just
down
fall
and then
off
just
again.
like and then I'll just do this kind of slide thing until I get hit, and then that happened like so many times in one match, like that, and on the
Just that jump and dash.
yeah, I know, but I want to kind of
Just can't do it.
I just can't do it, so that's why I
Well,
really hate that level.
I feel like
With Ribbon
everyone
Girl?
Yeah.
With Ribbon Girl, you can actually jump from the ground onto the platform in Scrapyard with 2 jumps and a dash. You can actually get onto there, like just straight from the ground, which is I don't know how I feel about that, but it's nice when I play Ribbon Girl. So
I see our next team is loaning. Can I ask the question before that, because it's like related?
Yeah, sure.
You just talked about the things that you cannot make. Can we just like everyone say one thing that they cannot do at all in the game that's like really hard for them? Because definitely there is some things that you're struggling with.
Wait, sorry.
So the one mechanic that you're struggling with right now, like that is really hard for you to do.
For me, I think I still haven't gotten a hang of kind of actually perfectly aiming with the I'm not playing with the motion controls at all in ranked, and I think the one thing that I'm still struggling with a bit is actually just aiming good, because there's some cases, like I've noticed just recently, that I keep pressing forward when I shoot for some, like, I guess it's like stuck in your mind that you're supposed to go forward, but I have to like go back to hit up. It's kind of confusing for me, but so I think aiming is like the thing that I'm stuck at. Basically, that's kind of hindering why I'm not ranking up and stuff like that. Basically, I don't know.
The things for me, I'm really comfortable with movement. Like dashing and everything. I think just the main problems for me is just predictability. I repeat myself a lot, and also I guess blocking when it's appropriate. I'm just kind of I like to overextend. Like in every fighting game I play, I'm always inevitably too aggressive, and that just becomes my downfall because people can just react and punish. So backing off is something I need to work on. Blocking, and also learning when is not a good time to grab, and when is. I've really stopped grabbing a lot. Like watching my test punch footage over again, like I grabbed so much, and it worked in the test punch, but now like there's hardly ever like an opportunity to grab that's like totally safe. So really don't do it much anymore.
With me, it's really just my main problem was the dash guard canceling, where you can block and then dash out of it.
Oh yes, that's it.
I really wish
that's easy.
It's easy with both, actually. I actually think that it's just the problem is timing it, because if they only throw one punch, they'll always punish it when you come out of it, because you dash forward. You can only dash forward, so you can get punished really hard. So it's baiting them into the second punch, then doing it. So it's just difficult.
Well, my biggest problem right now is like the dash punch thing because I tried to practice it yesterday for like 3 hours straight, and I have while I was practicing that, I have found my second problem that I cannot get rid of is either I can block or either I can dodge. I cannot do both because when I start dodging, I just go dodging all the way, and I cannot stop dodging to just block. But if I start blocking, I start to move like really slow, and I try to block every like punch and then break a grab with a punch. And in dodging, it's vice versa. I cannot combine those two, and this is like the biggest thing for me.
Yeah,
It's really hard.
that's like one of those things where for me, for example, if you face a character for like 5 matches in a row, and then you face another player straight afterwards, and it's a different character, then you're like, oh, well, this is an entirely different game. I think it's kind of similar to that as well. Yeah, I think actually we've talked about a lot, and I think there's so much more to talk about. Like now, when I was thinking about topics for this episode, I felt like, man, I wonder what we're gonna talk about. But just hearing a couple of your opinions on some of the things here, I feel like there's so much that's going to be talked about, especially now with the tournaments coming up. There's like 4 tournaments, like bigger ones this month. One happening when is that happening, Akio? Like there's like a min.
The one.
Yeah.
It's happening in like 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's like it's the same like as the last episode, where it was like 10 minutes for the E3 one. But yeah, I think basically what I'm trying to say that we should wrap up and maybe do some kind of final shout outs to whatever, like plug your channels. Akio, you can start off.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any, like, will this be on YouTube?
Yeah, just
Yeah, so if the VOD will be uploaded, then there might be like a link or something in the description. But yeah, if it's just Akiosjo's Arms and Akiosjo, and yeah, so basically I just do like arms tutorials and just general discussion. Before I did speculation, and I'll probably do that as the lore progresses. So yeah.
All right, and SireAlligator or Golden Split,
Oh.
and do go ahead
Yeah.
if you want to say something in Russian. Go ahead.
Nah, it's no need. I mean, nobody's watching this if
Yeah.
they're Russian.
All right.
There's no need to plug my Golden Speed channel, so I will be plugging my SireAlligator channel because it's the only one I'm streaming in English. I'll be playing ARMS, but I'm not going to be winning there. I'm usually failing there. I can be good at fighting games, but I'm waiting while Monster Hunter is going to come out, and then I'll be spending my times playing Monster Hunter and then winding down in the ARMS. Definitely after the Devil Joe fights, yeah, I'm going to spend a lot of time in ARMS. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I guess.
All right, and then Robotoboy finally.
I mean, the best ones I can plug are Game Over HD TV, I think is what they go by on Twitch. They're one of my partners that do tournaments here locally in Tulsa and in Oklahoma, the Midwest even. They have a big major coming up this October called King of the Sticks, because we live in Oklahoma. I think it's pretty unique, and it's got a fight stick as the logo. I'm like, oh, I love that branding. But that they have a channel. They're pretty hype. It's Game Over Entertainment. It's also called Game Over HD TV for Twitch. The other one is House of Math. You can go to their Twitch channel. They stream Super Smash Bros. 4 weekly. It is the biggest weekly in Oklahoma. 60 people every Wednesday. It is huge. I designed all of the overlays and graphics for his thing. Just a little shameless plug, I guess, about my
It's all right.
He's another one of our partners. Kaze is that's his tag. He runs that tournament. And then my own store, Dragon Slayer Games, which is the store that I run all of these events out of. We have a website. It's dragonslayer-games.com. You can buy video games from us, pre-order. You can even check on our events. We also stream Magic the Gathering. My business partner loves that game.
Yeah.
So,
Actually play hacks, but not Magic.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it's I'll keep doing Fellows in Arms, and I'll stream games in between. Probably some more Nintendo Switch games. I saw this Zelda clone that was totally not Zelda that I might try out. Yeah, I think that's probably it. I think this is gonna be like the main theme for my channel moving forwards. So other than that, I'll just be failing in ranked mode in ARMS.
Yay,
so-
the fellow failure.
Yeah, you can catch me there. And I also want to give a shout out to Spanish Vanguard. He was like removing spammers in chat and being all around nice. And for anyone watching, just thank you for tuning in and being here. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, we can keep doing these episodes, and I can let the community talk to each other, basically. In the next episodes, we'll see who the guests will be. I'll try to kind of switch around guests, so it'll be like new guests from every episode and stuff. So
I have a little suggestion, so
Yeah,
maybe
go ahead.
next time we should do a round of arms.
yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah, we should
we
do
should.
some arms, definitely. I mean, we have 4 people, we can do 2 on 2 and other.
We can do this podcast in a party
Yeah,
lobby.
that would be
idea.
actually
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool.
I can experience that, like jumping all around in lobby and then crying when there will be target hitting practice. No, please.
Yeah, no, Europe versus America. Let's do this. No, but that's a good suggestion. I mean, I played versus an Australian guy with kind of surprisingly not that bad lag. So
Yeah, well, peer-to-peer is alright, but the only thing that I had in my thing is like one guy teleporting all around the stage. He was really
Yeah.
bad. I think it was his internet that was really bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably
Lag
But,
manifests itself in really odd ways in ARMS.
Yeah.
It does.
It's like Dark Souls all over again, and I'm like, no, please.
Oh man. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for episode 2 of Fellows in Arms. You can watch this VOD on YouTube, and I'll also upload the sound on SoundCloud, so hopefully there won't be too many confusing things because we didn't show too many videos here this episode. But yeah, thanks everyone, and thanks you guys for being in this episode, and don't mind time zones issues.
Thanks for the hosting it. of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you.
Well, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys around. So bye,
All
everyone.
right.
See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Adios.